Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are in the world. You know it is JJ on JJ's PC Builds. Oh, let's see, what do we got on the chopping block? Well, today we got a little something for you, but if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you put some likes on the videos, and we welcome all the new subscribers. Welcome to the family. Welcome to JJ's PC Builds. Now to jump into it, Asus just did an update on the Agiza. We're going to go ahead and we're going to jump over. Alrighty, at the time of the release of the video I was getting ready just to release, the thing is this, I'm breaking into the video again. I want to take a little recap on what I've been hearing from Asus. I'm going to go ahead and play a video of JJ on Asus about the BIOS updating on the Asus motherboards. So let's go ahead and just switch it right to it and see what this is all about.
So let me see here. So in terms of the UEFI releases, UEFI updates, there's essentially a few. The most important ones that I want to go over are going to be, like I said, starting to see for AM4. So this would be for boards like a Crosshair 8 Formula, Crosshair 8 Hero Wi-Fi, non-Wi-Fi version, the Crosshair 8 Impact, X570 Ace, the Dark Hero, the X570 Extreme Crosshair as well. Any one of those boards, you're essentially going to be seeing essentially an update for them. So let me go ahead and run you through essentially what this update would look like and what it's for. This update I would probably recommend as a moderate kind of update recommendation in terms of you considering. So in most situations, generally the rule of thumb is that if your system is running reliably without any issues, to not update the UEFI unless it's kind of deemed as a critical UEFI. And when we'd say critical, that would be because maybe there's a key issue relative to stability or functionality or security. And so you've seen this kind of in the past where there's a Spectre and Meltdown updates that were issued, and these updates were essentially implemented to be able to help to mitigate essentially security aspects. And so there is essentially a security enhancement implementation that is present within.
Now the thing is what he's trying to explain is this: if you don't need to update your BIOS, then don't. But if it's a matter of security issue, then update your BIOS. You know, but to be on the safe. But if you don't have to, you don't have to. So let's continue with this.
This new Agiza. So let me go ahead and show you what that would look like. So if we head over here in the ROG Crosshair 8 Hero, you can head over to drivers and tools. You can go to BIOS and firmware. You click the button, and then from there you'll see the actual listing right there. Now you'll actually see that this is a brand new Agiza build. So AM4 is already a very mature platform. It's been around for, of course, a few years, and like I said, for the vast majority of users, they've been running it. There's no need for you to change it. But if you do want to take advantage of this new Agiza, the 1.2.0.a release, which, like I said, implements this security vulnerability, which is specific for essentially the AM4 series of processors, then I would recommend that you check that out. And you'll continue to see this new Agiza get rolled out across essentially AM4 series motherboards. So that is going to be essentially right now live for not all of our X570 based motherboards, but for a good chunk of them. If you guys are, of course, part of the PCDIY group, I'll have a featured announcement post that will go up a little bit later that will actually note the more motherboards that we do already have those updates for. And of course, over the coming days, you'll see that expanded to pretty much cover the rest of the motherboard lineup. All right.
So y'all heard what I just heard. Basically, what he's saying was that in time there'll be a widespread update for the AM4 motherboards. Now the thing is this: I didn't hear him really say something about AM5. So this rollout is just it seems like it's for an AM4 motherboard. So it's kind of sketchy with me a little bit, but I'm sure in time they're going to have that rollout. I thought they were doing this rollout for the AM5 series Time will tell. It looks like they're doing this rollout for the AM4 series, certain motherboards, and in time, later on down the road, they're going to have it they're probably going to go through the whole lineup. So, I don't know if they're trying to test it. I don't know if they're, what they're trying to accomplish. But the thing is this, and like he said, if you don't need to update if your UEFI BIOS is running fine, don't mess with it. When it's not broke, don't mess with it. Until you hear, you do your research and hear the reports, don't mess with it. I'll leave a link down in the description below on this video right here so you can watch it yourself from the beginning to the end, so that way you can get a better understanding. But my understanding is this, it's for the AM4 motherboards and not the AM5. That was my understanding. I could have gotten it wrong. I never know. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll admit it. So, I'm just letting y'all know that this came about. So, have a watch on it and see what's going on. Give me your thoughts. Put them in the description below and let me know what you think. So, let's go ahead and get back to the video and do enjoy yourself right here on JJ's PC Builds. And welcome back there, family and friends. I decided that the whole video, I just decided to totally mitigate it and like Asus does, and do it fresh all over again. So I just deleted that whole video. I kept the front part, but now we're going to continue the video. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to go and have a peeky look, right? We're going to go have a peeky look over at Asus website, right? I'm going to take y'all along with me. So let's go to the action screen. Alrighty. So we're going to go to asus.com. And we're going to take and we're going to look. Hell, let's do it global. See, let's do the motherboards. Let's do the AMD. Let's do the AMD. Let's see. And do bear with me. We will get through this together. Okay, so they're saying that the DDR4 motherboards, the Force series, they're sitting there saying that the Force series is all set to go. Okay, so what we're doing is we're going to look in the 600 series. Okay, we're just going to take a look at the 600 series, and there's a reason why I'm doing this. We're going to click on the 600 series, and we're going to go to support. Okay, and then we're going to go to driver utilities, and we're going to select the OS. Just say Windows 10. All the chipset drivers looking good. Now the BIOS and firmware. Okay, now okay, it looks like they changed the BIOS, the 5/16/2023 to the version 14.15, which the Giza version to combo AM5. So this was changed on the 16th. Okay, it doesn't look like, and we're gonna have a gander. It looks like that, it looks like a their updated BIOS, but I'm not too sure about that one. But if it was done the 16th of this month, and everybody's just not knowing about it, make sure you go and this is the deal. I'm just showing you this for the simple fact that they said on the AM4 motherboards, right, that the BIOS was updated for the AM motherboards on certain ones in the beginning, and then over time they're going to roll out for the rest. Okay, make sure if you're looking to do the AM5 series, make sure you check out the AM5 updates to see if it rolled out for this month. Now, if they rolled out a new BIOS for this month and you're having a problem with your motherboard, let's say it burning, whatever, because the SoCs are getting too hot or, whatever, what you need to do is you need to go over there and get the update and see if that's going to make it better. Okay? And understand this, Asus rolled out and said to everybody, they're not going to penalize you for updating your BIOS. They're not going to penalize you for it. So if something happens and your motherboard is under warranty, they will honor the warranty. Now, I'm telling all my subscribers, my viewers, and everybody that's watching my videos that the way I'm gathering and the way I heard it was that they will honor, the warranty. So if you got a problem with your motherboard, make sure you get it RMA'd and be done. And then go on to something else. No sense of sitting around. And I'm going to say this because I want, and let me turn this right here. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this very well. Let me move this over. I'm going to say this to you, and I'm going to say this very well. Okay, I know I'm not a popular tech tuber, but the thing is this. When I'm watching all this, blowback because everybody's sitting there dogging one company after another company after another company after another company. Guess what? I want to take and put a point blank to you. When you're complaining about a company, and I understand, Asus made a couple mistakes. But you know what? They made good for their mistakes, and they're trying to fix and mitigate the issue. So instead of everybody panicking to run away from Asus, they should have just sat back and waited and let them fix the problem and then let life go on, other than becoming a drama queen. Okay? I don't need to be a drama queen. The only thing I need to do is look at the pricing. And if they give great pricing, I'm going to praise them. If they give a crappy price, I'm going to look at the best interest of the consumer and tell you, hey, this is a crappy price. So I'm not holding no punches. I'm not holding no punches whatsoever. If you got another tech tuber out there that says, hey, this is what I see, well, guess what? I might watch their reviews and I might, see what they got cooking. But the thing is this, when I do my reviews, I see what I got cooking. Okay? And everybody's sitting there jumping ship from Asus because of one little problem. Then everybody goes back and says, well, it's been going on for a couple years. Look, with NVIDIA and with AMD, it's been going on for more than a couple years. It's going way more than a couple years. And Intel too. All these companies. It's always the same song and dance. One does bad, one does good. You ever heard of good cop, bad cop? You got bad cop on one side, you got a good cop on one, on the other. So, and then they switch vice versa. This is nothing but a game to these companies. This is who can get the most money. This is all, we're pawns in their game. Until you wake up and realize that. We are nothing but pawns in this game. And all we are is the media pawns. And then you got the consumer pawns. So when you wake up and you smell the coffee and say, you know what, I'm in the game, you're in the game. You think by shutting out Asus, they're going to have any sweat over their cojones? They're not going to sweat it. They'll just go on and find another tech tuber that, will, help them out. And they help them out. One drops and the other one picks it up. Simple as that. It's nothing but when it comes to business, it ain't nothing but the money. Okay, these businesses that are, supporting these tech tubers and these tech tubers supporting these businesses with their products, it's one hand washes another. I don't take sides to any company. Yes, I have an AMD system. Yes, I have an Asus motherboard. Yes, I have an Asus graphics card, but it's from NVIDIA. So I have a little bit of NVIDIA, I have a little bit of Asus, and guess what? I even have a little bit of Intel in my computer. So I have a little bit of all those companies, and the TSMC too. I got Corsair in my computer, I got Crucial in my computer, I got Thermaltake in my computer. I got many companies already in my computer. So why am I going to bash the companies when I'm using their products? And I'm using it on a personal level and a professional level. YouTube creator, using it for that, using it for my own gaming, all in the same system. But guess what? I got another surprise coming for y'all in a couple days. Yeah, guess what? I ordered something else from Amazon. You're going to like this, and I'll make sure when it comes, I'll show you and show you what I got cooking. So do stick around for that. I told you, things are going to start cooking. Things are going to start picking up for the channel. I'm going to start being able to get product for the channel and this and that. Look, if these big businesses don't want to support me in the beginning, I can understand, why they don't want to do that, because then they feel that, they're not going to get anything out of it. But when I gain their trust and they want me to start advertising, their products on my YouTube channel, then it'll be a different story. So it is going to work towards that point, and I want y'all to make sure you understand that. It is going to work towards that point. And once we get monetized and the channel takes off, I'm sure they're going to want to get it up on the bandwagon. Because then I'm going to think about getting a better room than I got right now, except for the place I sleep at, and doing it right here in the little corner. And yes, I can admit that. I'm doing it in a room that I sleep at. Hey, nobody's perfect. But in time, I will get a bigger room to where I have it all nicely done and everything else, and have better cameras, better microphones. Look at this. Damn, look at this. stick microphone. Stick microphone. Okay, this microphone's 10 years old. 10 years old. It's not perfect, but it still works. What? I put a piece of rubber around it and make it look like, you know, something better. This is what they used to use back in the day. This is what right here is what they used to use back in the day. Long time ago. Long time ago. So, you know, never get around, you know, busting chops on what I use for a microphone. Because I'll tell you what, for a microphone, it's not too bad. Yes, I had to readjust the volume and stuff like that so I can get it just right. But anyway, it still works. 10 years old. And it still works. It was sitting in a box. I was sitting there looking, saying to myself, am I going to have a microphone for this, you know, to do this YouTubing? And I'm thinking to myself, And I'm thinking, I'm tapping my hands, and I'm thinking. Guess what? I found it. It was in a box, but I found it. It might be cheesy, and it might be cheap, but it still works, and it's still pretty decent microphone. You know, I might not have noise canceling right now, but I will soon. I can't tell you what I got coming, but you're going to have to stick around for that, because it's going to be cooking. And it's something that I've been wanting for a while. So, and it's not my drink neither. So, when it comes down to it, when this package arrives, we'll discuss it more then. But for now, I'm just going to tell you all like this. Simple said and put. And I'm going to tell you like this. Don't bash these companies. These companies are putting out their genius, their idea, their envisioning, and everything else. Yeah, right now they're having a hard time. Everybody's having a hard time in society right now because of overinflation and everything else, and it just rips on your mind. Kind of take a step back and breathe. Okay? Take a step back and breathe. Nice and easy. And then start looking at this in a different picture, and you'll start seeing some light at the end of the rainbow. Now, the thing is this. The 4060 Ti just came out, the 8GB, the one that everybody's saying, oh, I'm not going to get, because it's $400. Okay, so what? So what? Inflation's up. They still got to pay for the price of building each one of them. So the price is going to go up, especially when China puts the boot on their neck and says, you know what, you got to pay more for the die and the building and everything else. You know, they got that hassle. They got a lot of behind the scenes that you don't see as a consumer. A lot of behind the scenes. And, you know, if you've watched some of these tech tubers go to their companies and you go through their assembly lines and stuff like that, you understand there's a lot going on behind the scenes that they have to pay for. Electricity, they have to pay for water, they have to pay for many of things. They have to pay for the employees' lunch. You know, and I know that sounds crazy, but they have to pay for all these things. And yes, sometimes the consumer will eat the price. So you can't ask you can't beg the company to have them come down in price when they're already eating an enormous amount of the price as it is. So yeah, Nvidia come out with the 4070 that's $600. Yes, Nvidia comes out with the 4060 Ti 8 gigabytes for $400. Yes, in July they're going to come out with the 4060 Ti 16 gigabytes for $500. And yes, they're coming out with just the 4060 for $300. 3, 4, 5, 6. $100 in every different classes. Except for the 4060 Ti, where the 8 gigabyte and 16 gigabyte, they're both going to run the same. Just one's going to have more VRAM than the other one. They're both going to run the same speed. Nothing else is changing. So understand that. And on top of that, there's another thing. Everybody keeps missing the PCIe 4.0 X8 that they're going to be running for the 8 lanes that they're going to be running on those cards. Now, if you go to use it for the PCIe 3.0, imagine how much speed you're going to be getting then. Okay. Now, in order to tame that card down, the 3.0 X8, if you're running at PCIe 3.0, you might get X8. You might get you're going to get X8. You know, since it's going from 8 lanes to 8 lanes. So you're going from 8 lanes on one side, 8 lanes on the other. But 3.0, you're probably running less than 16 lanes or 18 lanes or something like that. Your motherboard's probably running at a certain amount of lanes. So if you got 8 lanes and you only get 12 lanes, so it leaves you 8 lanes for the graphics card. It leaves you 4 lanes for, guess what? Your M.2 drive. Your M.2 SSD. So you might get 12, you might get 14 lanes. You never know. So unless you go to PCIe 4.0, then you might get 18, you might get 20, you might get 24 lanes. Depends. So running 4.0, X16, and having 4 extra lanes over. 4 extra lanes over. And hear that. So you run full 16 off of that graphics card. You got 4 left over. Or you got 6 left over, it would be even better. Because then you got the 4 you can run for the M.2 drive. And that leaves you with 2 lanes left. And that could be running the processes, certain processes and everything else. Don't want to bore you with that. So, when it comes to the motherboard, look at what you choose. Make sure you choose correctly. Now, I'm running the RTX 4070. The one I just got. On a B450 motherboard. That's running 3.0 X16. So, what do y'all think about that? Y'all leave a comment down below. I know that's kind of sick, don't you think? Truthfully, I think it's pretty sick. So, imagine what I'm seeing on my side here. And do remember, when I run this motherboard, this Asus motherboard, I am running it on, everything is on autopilot. Except for the DOHCP or something like that, the overclocking for the RAM, that I do not use. I manually set the frequency and the infinity fabric. So I set the frequency at 3200 megahertz, the fabric at 1600 megahertz, lock it solid. I do not use the XMP DOHCP. That's the boost for the RAM. I have my reasons. I don't need to use it. And there's a little bit of a thing about that. I don't need to use XMP on here. I haven't used it yet. And I'm not gonna. I have my reasons. I can tell you one of the reasons. If you go to run PBO, and understand this, on this motherboard, you go to run PBO and DOHCP at the same time, motherboard ain't gonna boot. You're not gonna boot into Windows. No sirwee. You ain't gonna boot into Windows. It's either one or the other. I already went through this. So I'll show you in another video. I'll take and I'll run the small camera. And I'll show you all the BIOS inside of my B450 motherboard. And I'll show you all the little ins and outs of what you need to see. Right here. And I'll show you how it's running. And I have been running it for 8.5 months like this. Not one problem. Not one lick of problem. Everything runs like a gem. So we'll end up doing a breakdown about the BIOS sooner or later. So make sure you stick around for that. Okay. So I'm not going to make this a long video tonight or this morning or whatever the case is. But if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe. We're working towards 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. What we mean by 4,000 watch hours, watch the videos from beginning to end. Would be much appreciated. Will help support the channel and it would help us get monetized. So want to welcome again all the new subscribers. Welcome to the family. Welcome to JJ's PC Builds family. And all the new and the old subscribers we have here. Thank you for supporting the channel. Y'all have been awesome, the best, and everything else. I don't know how to explain it, but y'all have been great. So I'm going to go ahead and jump out of here. So until the next time in the next video, this is JJ on JJ's PC Builds. We will see you on the next one.